the meaning was clear. There was to be no intermarrying, no building of factions, no crossing the invisible lines that separated the races. Then there were the logistics of it all. Vampires suffered when blood mated to other vampires. When mated, their powers, energy, and strength became shared resources. This was less of a problem centuries ago, when being separated from your mate was less likely, and traveling in packs was more common. This balance of power had enhanced the dominance of the clan. One would think evolution would have done away with such a thing, but it hadn't. Without a unified show of force, having half your power shared with some fuckboy could be problematic. That was the thing. Vampires should have been anxious to mate, but without the barbaric needs of the old days, the draw of mating was gone. It was almost as if love were forbidden, even if it wasn't. Then there was Farrah herself. Where most vampires did a wonderful job of living up to the make-believe lore, she was not one of them. She struggled with turning off the part of her that was human, while most developed a thicker skin from the moment they were turned. They didn't bother with the constraints of human culture, like marriage and monogamy. But Farrah knew there was a mate out there for her. There was actually some internal drive that commanded her to find him, the one, whoever the hell that was, as if she were cursed. And, just in the way of most curses, there were no directions that came with the son of a bitch, only the will and drive. Sure, she had the will, but the drive, not so much. She actually felt as if she were being driven insane. It was like a venomous bite slinking its way through her body. I can't imagine what you see in humans. Even with sex, they are no real match for us. Layla childishly made a hole with one hand and stuck her finger through it, on their best day. Clearly not this dude, but some of them might come close. I can even name a few. Apparently Hollywood is where you need to find them. She straightened herself on the stool. Even if you happen to find one that contradicts all those things, their lifespan is too short. A human will never satisfy you like another vampire. This is easy math that doesn't add up. I know you're smarter than that, girl. Farrah knew her dearest friend and maker was probably right, as usual. Okay, she was mostly right. She just wasn't so sure being with a vampire would end her troubles. Hell, it hadn't so far. Whatever it was, activism or preservation, with the vampire race in the minority, exploring other options probably wasn't a bad idea. Still, a part of her knew humans were not it, and most vampires made her slightly ill at the thought. All valid points, Layla. I'm just wondering what else is out there. And the last time I dated a vampire, he was an absolute asshole, like for real. He always practically drained our host before offering me a vein, and he would go to bed without worrying about what I'd do to protect myself for the day. Hell, if I were being crisped in the sun, it wouldn't have made a bit of difference to him. You remember that, right? Farrah huffed, running her fingers through errant tufts of hair to smooth the wild curls from her face. She'd forgotten her clip, and try as she might, she never achieved the Beyoncé look. She ventured more in the neighborhood of Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction, right around the time she was being stabbed in the shower, or perhaps when she was on that roller coaster with the kid. But what did it matter? Anyone who sat next to Layla would pale in comparison. Yes, but at least he understood your plight and where you were coming from. Try getting a human to understand why you're not able to luxuriate on the beach all summer. And to make matters worse, your last fang bang was 2 decades ago. You might have been too young for him then. I've got an idea, though. Layla tapped her fingernails on the black marble bar top. Farrah took another drink, rolled her eyes, and motioned to the bartender to bring them another round. Mike the bartender was interesting and exactly the type of human Layla would approve of for one of their fun nights. His joggers were slung low around his waist, and Farrah was willing to bet the last pint of blood in the world he wasn't wearing BVDs, since his manhood jostled freely as he sauntered, swaggered up to the bar. He worked at Melody on Saturday nights, and while Farrah had never made a move on him, human that he was, they'd connected. Maybe it was purely due to him making the best drinks in the world, and that was on some spiritual shit. Despite